Hello, we meet again. So you've done the VS Code and now you have VS Code on your computer. That's really awesome. As promised in the last lesson, I will teach you Git today. Now Git, there's a lot of things to teach you actually. So maybe this video will be split up into different parts. For this part, I'm just going to explain briefly about the Git commands, okay? Now, Git is a really important in terms of programming, especially using VS Code. Especially in terms of teamwork, because if you have a big project, you want to work together with your other teammates and share your code and also see what's the difference. And at the same time, you can also store your code online, like for example on GitHub or GitLab, and we can pull back or clone the code that we've pushed earlier. So that way you won't lose your code that easily if you are using a different laptop or different computer, different device lah in general, right? Okay. So for now, I'm just going to teach you the basic Git commands that we usually use. And maybe later I'll show you some examples. And then in the end, I'm going to teach you how to make a GitHub account. I'll explain more about those two as we go on later. Alright, now it's time for us to start. Okay, for this part, I'm just going to use print first to explain the different commands. So remember that every time we want to use a Git command, Git commands is usually used on the terminal. So we have to type in the command. Yeah, like hackers. So we always will need this command in the beginning, Git. This means that the terminal will know, oh, we're going to use a Git command. So the first Git command I'm going to teach you is called Git Clone. Okay, what is Git Clone? Git Clone is, for example, when later we have GitHub. Yeah, because I'm going to teach you more about GitHub later. And then when you have a repository online. So repository is where you store your code. I'll touch upon that more later. So let's say you have a folder, a repository called maybe testing. Okay. So you can use Git Clone. And then put in the .git of the repository. So this .git mean that it means the Git file of the repository. So every time you make a repository on GitHub, they will first introduce you to a screen and say that to clone this, you need to put in this command. You can also download it, but I prefer cloning. Why? Okay, that one will be explained later when we go to Git push. So Git clone, for example, let's say the URL will be a bit long. Like for example, your GitHub ID, and then the folder name, the repository name, and then .git. Yeah, it might be something like this. So when you do that, automatically all the folders in that repository will be on the place that you clone. Usually I like to clone it on the desktop so that it'll be easier to find. Okay, so to simplify it, Git clone means to clone your repository items that includes the folders and files onto your desired location. Okay, so now we can move on to the next one. Oh, I forgot paint. So we need to erase this one by one. Oh no. Maybe I should put a jump cut over here. Okay, so there was maybe a jump cut, maybe not. Now let's see the next command. Okay, the next command we're going to do is Git Add. Okay, so when you make your files in a folder and you have to add them to your repository, because if not, your repository, like just now, the testing will be empty. You don't want it to be empty always. You want to put your files over there, right? So Git Add will add the files that we will push to that repository. So let's say I put Git Add, and then let's say the file name I want to push is index.html. So what will happen is that it will push the index.html file. Sorry, not push. It will add the index.html file to be committed to push. But if you're like me, who wants to push everything, so we need to add everything. So if you want to add everything, we put over here git add dot. So dot means all files and folders. Yeah. So this one actually index.html, actually the command that you might remember is git add and then file name. So it can be git add index.html, git add main.css, style.css, and any file that you want to add. But usually I prefer to do git add dot to add everything and commit at the same time. Okay, so commit. Okay, let me show you first the basic of pushing to GitHub. First, there are two ways. First, you can clone it. Then you can add. Then after that, you can commit. And then you can push. Okay. But let's say sometimes you didn't use the clone. So you can add first, commit. Yeah, the message can be anything that you want. Then git push dash u origin. And Git Clone will be repository URL. Yeah, I think this one will be easier for you to remember if you put Git Clone. And then after that, over here, repository URL. I think this will be easier to remember what to clone. Okay. So notice the difference. One is we have to clone the repository URL. The other, if we don't clone, we just add the items to the folder. We need to push to the repository URL. So that one is another thing that I'll explain later when we get to the push. Yeah. But notice the same thing they have in common is that after the add, they have commit. So git commit -m message. So this one can be any message. Usually if professionally, in the message they will put in what is it to be committed, to be pushed. For example, git commit -m created the CSS files and added bootstrap to the header, something like that. Something that explains what you've done to be pushed, but it's not that long as well. So that when other people in your team see what you push, you'll be like, oh, okay, I know what this guy or this girl committed just now, what they push. Okay, so commit is to commit the file to be pushed. So over here is when it will start committing everything, and then those files that are committed, when you push to the repository, those files will be available in the repository. Okay, and then git push. Okay, git push. If you already have the repository URL by cloning, so that means your Git will be already automatically configured, remotely configured to the branch. So this is what I call a remote branch actually. So there are times when you already have a remote branch that is configured, then there are times that you don't. Usually when you have a remote branch configured, that's when you clone the repository URL. Then when you clone, automatically it's already configured with the branch that you, or the repository that you clone from. But if you were to push, like if you were to just make a folder, but you didn't make the GitHub folder yet, for example, the GitHub repository yet, you need to push -u origin and then the repository URL. Okay, so for example, git push, push the files to the remotely configured branch. Git push -u origin repository URL. -u means upstream. Okay, that's my brush. Alright. So -u, it means upstream. That means it will configure that repository URL or that branch to your VS Code, for example. So from now on, every time you push, you can just push normally, and it will directly configure to the file, to the repository that you were using earlier. So this one you can say is like the first part, the first time you push, and then this one is for all the other times you push after this, if you didn't change the repository. Okay, so git push -u origin, push the files to a newly configured branch or repository. Some people like to call it branch, some people like to call it repository. But actually, branch means something else as well. So there are a few commands that we can use for branch. But first, what is branch? Okay, let's clear all this first. So while clearing, I'll explain in the meantime that, remember, usually the first time, if you make a folder, you use git push -u origin, and then subsequently after that, you can just git push normally. Then if you clone, or maybe if you pull, then you can just use git push, don't need to git push -u origin. Git pull, I didn't explain about that as well, right? Maybe you should go git pull first lah. Okay, git pull. Actually, let's go git branch first. Git branch. So what is git branch? Git branch, it will list your current branch, the current branch that you're using. And usually it will be master or main if you are doing it alone, your first time, because that's the main branch that usually when you make GitHub or GitLab, that will be the main branch name. Of course, later you can add more branches because it's like a organization. So for example, imagine that there is a tree. Yeah, let's give the tree some red leaves. So this tree is the project. Now the trees have a lot of branches, right? These branches make the leaves. So let's say over here the branches are the different people that will be doing different parts. So let's say okay. So this will be my branch. Let's call it mysterious branch. Then over here, let's call, maybe it's my friend. My friend's name is Secret. So Secret's branch. So we will work together. Like I will do my part and he will do his part. And after that, in the end, the project will be completed. And when we push to our branch, it won't affect the other person's branch. So it's a great way to avoid conflict. Git branch is to list your current branch that you're on, so that way you don't accidentally go and push to your friend's branch or your co-worker's branch, because then it'll be a big problem later. And then Git branch, oh, it's green color now. Okay, let's change it back to black. Git branch dash A. Git branch dash A. List all the branches in the repository. So basically when you do this, you can see all the different branches and you can use the one that you want. But I recommend you to use your own branch so that you don't conflict with the project later. But let's say you can only see one branch, you can see all the different branches. You have to make a different command, use Git Fetch. So Git Fetch all the branches in the repository. So if your Git branch -a doesn't show all the branches, you use Git Fetch and then use Git branch -a again. But if you have a lot of branches, for example, the branches that they show is mysterious, then mysterious 1, and then secret, then secret 2. I want to use mysterious 1 because when I use Git branch, I'm on mysterious. So what should I do? I can use this. You can use this. Git checkout, then mysterious. Let's say I just put over here branch name. Yeah. So Git checkout branch name, switch you to that branch. And your files also will be the files of that branch as well. Now, if we want to make a new branch, for example, mysterious, I use it for my HTML. So, mysterious 1, I use it for part of my CSS. Now, I want mysterious 2 for my responsive. Secret is working on the database or Secret is working on the database. So if I want to make a new branch, it's the same as Git checkout, but put -b branch name. So this one will switch to a new branch, and then over here, after that the branches will have mysterious 2. If I do this lah, Git checkout -b mysterious 2. Yeah. Then after that I can alternate mysterious 2 to do this, then I use a different branch. This one is so that it won't conflict, and maybe later my mysterious 1 is working, but there's some code that isn't working that causes the other code to not function as expected. So I make a different branch. Right. So now that we have this, remember earlier I talked a little bit about pull. Git pull origin branch name. So what this does is that it pull the code of a different branch and merge it with your current code. So for example, over here, mysterious, and then mysterious one, and then let's say I put secret. So mysterious, this branch have index.html. Mysterious one got index.html also, but in his index.html code got extra code lines in index.html that is not on mysterious branch index.html. And then secret is doing the database, so maybe he got a configuration file. Let's say he got an SQL file. And at the same time he got a JavaScript file, app.js, for example. Okay. So when we pull, for example, I will pull my second branch first. I will pull the mysterious one. Sorry, I'll erase this first. Okay, and then I will do this part. Say git pull origin mysterious one. So when I put git pull origin mysterious one, my mysterious folder is now will have index.html, but updated with the code lines from mysterious one. Okay. So that means this is how you will update your files and get the latest project. Remember to always pull your friends' branches so that it won't conflict later on. So when you pull, you get their code, it will be merged with your branch. But if you also pull, for example, secrets branch, git pull origin secret, your mysterious branch will have index.html, the updated one, SQL file, and app.js. So see how it actually collaborated. You collaborated with your other friends or coworkers using the git pull. Now it's good practice to always pull your friends or coworkers branches, but you have to do it in this manner. Let me show you the best way. Every time you start to make your project or you start to work on your project that have more than one people and more than one branches, first thing that you have to do is git pull first, git pull origin branch name. Yeah, always pull the main branch, because usually when you are in a big project, they will always merge with the main branch or the master branch. And then you git add dot git commit, and then before you push, you pull again the branch, just in case someone else also push it, so you don't want to conflict. So you pull again, and then you git push. If there's conflict, you can fix it first. Okay, so how many git did we learn today? Branch A. Oh, there's one more command that I forgot to teach. So this command is actually pretty important because you need to check which branch which repository that you're currently remotely configured to, so that you don't accidentally go and push to a wrong repository and it might mess up your project. So in order to do that, git remote show origin. This one will show the branch that you are remotely configured to. The branch of repository. So by doing this, you can see for example, you are remotely configured to the testing repository. And if I'm not mistaken, it will also show that which branch you are on as well. So this is important. If not, you might go and push to the wrong branch. I think yes, that is all the Git commands that we learned for today. Later, I will show you a live example using VS Code and GitHub. And then after that, I'm going to teach you how to make a GitHub account. Okay. Answer the questions below there first. And I'll meet you again at the was it task 12, task 13? Among the stars. Alright, see you soon. Okay, post-production trainer, yeah? So, the previous recording, there was a bit of an error in this part where it says git push -u origin repository URL, right? Yeah, okay, that part was a mistake on my part. I'm sorry. It's actually -u origin and then the branch name. Yeah, branch name. So it actually push the files to the new branch. Yeah, not the repository. So what if you want to push it to a new repository, right? So that one we use a different command actually. That is git remote add origin. Git remote add origin, and then the repository URL. So this is how you will get. This is how you can configure another repository when you're pushing. Yeah, not -u origin repository URL. Sorry, that was that was my bad. And I'll include this picture as reference in the lesson. Alright, back to the main lesson. Okay, post-production 2.0. I missed out one more thing. It's git init. That is to initialize Git. So why we need initialize Git? Because sometimes when you make your own folder, there's no Git inside there. You can skip Git init if you clone or pull the repository. But if you just create a folder to be pushed, you need to Git init first. And then, okay, how about I make it into two different things? One is if you clone or pull, you will need this git add dot git commit -n and then your message and then git push. But if you are making from push from folder, that means you did not clone or pull. Need to git init first to have the git file, then git add dot git commit -n message, then git remote add origin and put in your repository URL here, and then you git push -u origin and then the name of the branch. Usually it's master, the first one. Okay, that is all for this post-production. Now back to the main video.